Hi, good morning, Beacon of Hope show. Welcome, welcome. The song playing is Watoto Children's Choir, Not Forgotten. I do not own the rights to this song. Today we have Eunice Menja. Eunice Menja. She's our beacon of hope for orphans, abused, and neglected. So I'm waiting for her as she comes in. He knows my name. Not forgotten. Na na. Hum. Hum. I'm waiting for Eunice. Eunice, I am live on the Hope Hub page. Okay. We'll see if, let me see if I can invite you. I am not forgotten. God knows my name. I'm sending you an invite. Mama. And I will praise him. Hey Eunice, I just sent you an invite. I'm going to go ahead and pause this song while Eunice finds me on the Hope Hub page. I just sent you an invite, Eunice. My husband as well can send you another invite in case you haven't seen the first one. But I'll just go ahead and give you a little bit of background in terms of Eunice. Eunice is a great friend of mine. I met her last year actually virtually, and I also met her last year for the first time at a Kwitu annual grand reunion in the Washington DC area. So she is a Kwitu sister of mine, and she is just amazing and so inspirational. And I thought we need to give her an opportunity on the Hope Hub to come here and share her hope to the world in terms of how she is impacting lives, especially lives of young children. Her mission is, oh, thank you, Eunice. Her mission is to share her faith, her experiences in order to impact social change and spiritual change as well. So I'm going to add you, Eunice. Add, and I think this should to the Beacon of Hope show. She is getting added, and we'll cross our fingers and hopefully we'll have a really great conversation. As you come in, please invite people, please add people. Do not share this video to groups where videos that you're not allowed to share videos to, because I learned that the hard way last week when I shared a video to a group that I wasn't supposed to share to. So please invite your friends. Please invite your friends. Eunice, make sure that your phone is horizontal. I know you've done this before. Make sure your phone is horizontal. And then in the meantime, I'll tell you people a little bit about who you are. So our blog, Eunice talks about how everywhere across the world there are individuals who are suffering. Hi, because of
Hi,
oppression.
Faith. How are you? Can you see me?
Hi, yes, I can see you great. Maybe wipe your camera just a little bit. It seems a little blurry. Um, yes, I think now you're looking good. You're looking good. You're looking all right. So I
Okay.
read your blog. I read your blog, Eunice, and I'll just share with people what you have as your mission statement on your blog. So Eunice's mission is to share her faith and experiences with others to promote spiritual and social change. That's what she says on her blog. And she says everywhere across the world, there are people who are suffering some kind of oppression. Some people oppress others because their culture dictates. Others have no knowledge, and that is unfairness because they have no knowledge. And so her life, she wants to bring light based on her current position in the mission field and the education that she's acquired. That's what she has on her blog. I'll go ahead and say welcome to the Hope Hub. I know, first of all, thank you so much for supporting the Hope Hub, number one, because you are one of the first people that I said go live and talk to people about hope story live, and you did that for me. So I really, really appreciate that hope story that you gave. And also, thank you for bringing your friend Elizabeth.
Hi.
Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank
But
you.
I'll go ahead and start. Maybe Eunice, maybe I start with the questions pertaining to you, and then we'll bring Elizabeth in. Or do you want her to stay throughout the whole broadcast? Because people are seeing half your face, and how do you want to do it?
Oh, okay. So, all right. Let me move to words. I think I'm having trouble hearing you. I'm not sure why.
Oh, can people hear
Okay.
me? Can everyone hear me? Okay, Mary Kim, good morning. Now
Now you look like you're upside down.
you're upside down.
Is that better?
Yes, that's better.
Okay.
So is your volume on the phone? You're good?
Yes, now we're good. I just increased it.
Okay, all right. So you can move central, and then the first questions will pertain to you mostly. I just
Okay, so I moved.
yeah,
Just want
just
to see me?
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
first and foremost, please introduce yourself to the Hope Hub community, who you are.
You did
And
a
then
good job introducing me.
you want me to introduce you?
I think Mary Kim is saying something. We should turn off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
Oh, okay.
I'll try to turn off my Bluetooth and see. I
Okay.
know that I'm using my Wi-Fi.
Okay. Mine is turned off as well. Let me just make sure. Yeah, my Wi-Fi is turned off.
Yeah, I just turned off my Bluetooth.
Okay.
But I need my Wi-Fi to use the phone, so yeah.
Okay. Just keep it on.
Yeah.
So go
Yeah.
ahead and introduce yourself, Miss Eunice.
Okay, I know you did a good job, but I'm just gonna summarize who I am. I'm Eunice Menja. I am a friend of Faith. We talk a lot about hope and her channel of encouraging people to have hope. And
Yeah.
so I am married to children, 19, almost 20, and 15. Um, yes, I have two big girls. And of
Yeah.
course, a mother to so many others. I have probably more than 40 children that call me mom in Kenya because I have been in their life.
Get you a new password. Follow the
Okay.
instructions.
I'm not sure why my computer is talking. Okay, there you go. Yes, so I started Upendo Children's Home, and I am the founder of Upendo Kids Inc. Here in Oklahoma. And
Yeah.
we do have actually, you need to move over to the right side, mommy. We can't see you. Can you see me now?
Yes.
Yeah, for some reason my phone moves with me. So there you go. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, and I was raised in Kenya. I am here in Oklahoma. I have been in Oklahoma for at least more than 10 years, not 20. And I have gone to school at Oklahoma State University. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in human development and family science, of course, moving away from civil engineering, which I had done in Kenya. And that's where I actually discovered my full potential to help our families and children in Kenya. And so I am also an author. I have a book. We're going to talk about it with Faith, and I have another one coming. Yeah, it's going to be on the shelves very soon. That's all. Yeah.
That's who you are. So
Yes,
I know
that's who I am.
when you did the Hope story on the Hope Hub, you were actually taking one of your daughters to university for the first time that weekend. Which one is that? Is that Yvonne or Rita?
It's Yvonne. She's the
Yvonne,
oldest.
How is she
Yeah,
doing in
she's
college?
going to University of Oklahoma.
How is she faring?
Oh, she's doing great. Actually, I was supposed to bring some of our kiddos from Upendo here, but she's hosting them at her university. She has activities lined up for them, and they're gonna watch their first football game.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so they just, yeah, we will be joining them later. It's very cold, so I'm not gonna stay in the cold, but they, we pampered them, so they're gonna be able to watch the game today.
Wonderful.
All the way from Kenya, yes.
Yes, so let's talk about Upendo. Really, let me talk about your passion, your purpose first, because of all the issues in the world, all the issues in the community, all the issues that you could have chosen to focus on, why did you focus on orphans, these children whose parents have died, permanently abandoned, whose parents are unknown? Why focus on that? Where did that calling come from?
I've told this story before, and that's why I brought my friend Elizabeth here, because she's, you know how sometimes you're not able to speak about yourself a lot, but I'm so glad because this opportunity happened right when she's here from Kenya. She tells the story better than me because
then put on the camera.
Yes, I'm gonna put her on the camera. She's gonna tell you all how it started about, because the day was starting. She was there at the farewell party when I was leaving Kenya to come to the United States. Yes. So I'm gonna introduce my friend Elizabeth, and she's gonna talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Yes, there is Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
Welcome to Oklahoma. Welcome to the U.S.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, so the question that I had for Eunice was, how did Upendo start? So she says you can do a better job in answering that question.
Yes, I think I can attempt.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Elizabeth, and my ministry is in children. Back in Kenya, I am what we call a church school teacher of many years. Before Eunice relocated to Oklahoma, she was teaching with me those church school children in the home church.
Okay.
And she was one of the favorite teachers to the children. So when time came for her to come to America, she held a farewell party where the kids, those kids and the teachers were to be.
Yes.
And it became so emotional, and kids were crying all over because they felt they would miss her so much. And there was that emotional cry that, Eunice, please don't forget us. Don't forget us when you go to America.
Yeah.
And so when she arrived here, I laugh at her every time I remember that, because it's like when she came, she was not able to forget them.
Yeah.
And within the same year, she thought the first thing that she can communicate to them that she has not forgotten them is to give them a Christmas treat.
Okay.
And having been afraid back home, she chose me as one of the teachers who she can use to connect me to the kids, and she sent some dollars that I may organize a Christmas party for the kids.
Oh, wow.
And the kids were so happy.
Mm-hmm.
When Eunice got the feedback back from me,
Mm-hmm.
how the kids were so happy and how the kids prayed for her,
Yeah.
I believe she realized it cannot be a just once-off issue.
Yes.
And then later on, those kids, some of them are from very poor families, very needy families.
Yeah.
They started sending notes to her, asking her whether she can assist them in their education,
Mm-hmm.
which she gladly did to one or two kids.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, without going into many details,
Yeah.
that is how the story of Eunice started. She was not able to disconnect from there.
Yeah.
More and more needy cases arose.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the very desperate cases that we have as a testimony are part of the children that who I am with here in Oklahoma, who we came this particular time.
Wow. Wow.
One particular girl called Juicy, who we picked from the streets,
Mm-hmm.
brought to church,
Wow.
started educating her at age 5. And now she's in a national school in Form 1, the Kenyan system,
Oh my God.
doing so well.
That's amazing. That's
That's
amazing.
one. That's just one of the many, because the kids at the Upendo home, right now they are 40 in number,
Mm-hmm.
both the boys and girls,
Wow.
ranging from age 18 all the way down to 3 years.
Yeah.
And Eunice is doing a great job.
Wow. So it just started with the Sunday school, and then
Yes.
slowly you started getting resources from Eunice to help one child, then 2, then 3, then 5, and then it started growing. And then did you help lay the groundwork for the children's home? Because at some point you must have now decided, okay, these children not only need to come to Sunday school, but they need a place to sleep. So how did you then start the actual home?
It is after realizing that even when we pay the school fees
Mm-hmm.
to this child who is on the street or who is from a very desperate family,
Yeah.
even when he goes to school,
Yeah.
and then going back home to the streets, what we would call the streets,
Yeah.
it is still it can't work. So after communicating the feelings that these kids need to be brought together, need to be fed well, need to be clothed well,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the dream, Eunice's dream of, can I bring them together? Can I start a home for them? Is it possible? And how she did it, maybe she has a better way of telling it. But
Yes.
we found now is from church school,
Mm-hmm.
we were able to identify the very needy cases.
Yeah.
She bought a home for them, small number of them. That was a very small number that time.
Mm-hmm.
With the time, it has grown to 40. And we looking forward for the number to increase, because we have even established a home, a bigger home.
Yeah.
Eunice will
Wow.
tell you more about that.
So let me go back to, you're saying the children would come and they would talk to you about the needs that they were facing. What were some of the things that were what were some of the community issues the children were facing, or household issues they were facing, in order for them to come? What do you think is the reason behind all these children? And are they all orphans, by the way, or are some of them just from poor households, poor families?
No, not all are orphans.
Okay.
Some are from neglected families,
Yes.
very poor families,
Yeah.
abusive background.
Okay.
So that's how they found maybe solace in church.
Yeah.
and hope in this person who was able to remember them and listen to them and love them.
Wonderful. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. Thank you. So let me
Asante.
ask you this in terms of what was going on back in the US, because I can only imagine, Eunice, if you're
Yeah.
here in the US, and I know it's not easy. I know your husband was on campus. He was a student when you came.
Yeah.
You didn't come with did you come with a working visa? Basically, when you came,
No.
you did
No,
courses, right?
I didn't have a working visa. Actually, what happened is that when I came to the US with my children, of course, I came a year later after my husband had already come.
Yeah.
I was looking for somewhere to take my youngest because, of course, here there's no daycare, but you want her to be in a place where she can socialize with other kids and,
Yeah.
So I took her to a program called Head Start. I'm not sure if you know about it, but it's huge here in Oklahoma. It's
Mm-hmm.
the nursery or the kindergarten or pre-K for for the low-income families. And also, of course, many students are usually low income because many students don't work, so they
Yeah.
qualify. And so my daughter qualified there. So I used to go there and volunteer. And of course, I loved children, as you can hear. I used to teach children in Kenya, Sunday
Yeah.
school. So I would
Mm-hmm.
volunteer there and I would be there, like almost all day. Anytime they needed someone to volunteer, they would just call me, or whenever I drop my child off there, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So one time the director asked me, Eunice, would you be interested in applying for a position? And I
Yeah.
said, sure, but I don't have a working visa. So she encouraged me to, of course, start the process, of getting a visa and all those kind of things. And at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I got hired and I got to be a lead teacher in the class. Mind you, I hadn't done any, I want to say early childhood education.
Oh.
So when I started going for the trainings, I was like intrigued by the information I was getting, brain development, nurturing the child for the brain to fully develop and all those kind of things that I never heard when I was, even growing up in Kenya. And every time I
Mm-hmm.
would think, oh my gosh, I'm just thinking about the children in Kenya that don't get an opportunity to go to the early childhood whole education, and how much they are missing because their
Yeah.
parents don't have their parents don't have the money to take them to those daycares. And I remember my child, I used to pay a lot of money to take her to a baby class in Kenya. So
Yeah.
that's how kind of I had God calling me into reaching out to those little kids that didn't have that opportunity, because I was like, of course, there is brain being wasted in Kenya because of lack of knowledge, and we're not nurturing children very well, because if they're in poor communities, of course, they're not getting that education in the beginning. So that's
Mm-hmm.
how I started actually paying for these little kids to go to school because they couldn't afford it. And
Yeah.
that's when Elizabeth came in. I would send her money to go shop for the uniform, the school supplies, and take them to church, preschools and stuff like that. So that education helped me. And when I was in there, I was like, I don't think I was called to be a civil engineer. I don't want to continue, further my education in civil engineering. So I
Okay.
would go on on the university website where my husband went to school, Oklahoma State University, and I would look up the programs that really match what is inspiring me in doing all this. So one
Yes.
time I went to the Human Development, and Family Science website, and I looked at their courses. You know how you just look at the courses and you just know those are the courses you're supposed to be taking.
Yeah.
Marriage and family,
You
parenting.
know, this way, because we can't see you at all.
Okay,
I'll
there.
come back to Elizabeth after. You just
Okay.
focus on you.
All right.
'Cause
Okay. So
Eunice,
I would see courses like marriage and family, and I would see parenting classes, early childhood, child
yes.
development, and all those kind of courses. And I walked into the department and I told them, you know what? I have a degree in civil engineering, but I really feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. So I told them
Yeah.
my history and what I've been doing with children, and they told me, sure, here's the application, you can do the application. And as soon as I did the application, I found
Mhm.
myself going to school there.
Wow.
So of course I've, finished a bachelor's degree because I had an associate, from Kenya. So, and then by the time I was finishing, because I had done so much in the community, I had made relationships with the, with the professors, sometimes I would get awards, just, when you write a paper because you know what you're talking about and you just get score A's, I graduated with a 4.0 when I did my bachelor's. At the same time, I was still working at Head Start. Then I got, money to go to do my master's degree. And that's how I did my master's degree in the same field. Yeah. So that really helped me. And I can say sometimes when you're doing something, when you already have the understanding of doing it, you do it better, because I could now understand the needs of the kids in Kenya. Besides education, of course, you need them to be safe. Of course, you need to provide shelter. You need to empower them. You need to. So the programs that I usually now do is based on my education and, of course, experience. Yeah.
Wow.
I answered that question better. Yes.
Thank you for that. I know one of the things that maybe you haven't said, but I remember from your Hope story on the Hope Hub is that you had such limited resources that you took the beads that you had from Kenya and you started making bracelets, making necklaces, and then you would sell them, and that's how you came up with the first $200 to send to Kenya for the Christmas party. And then after that, you just become finding ways to spend money, find additional resources. So where you are now from that $200, what is your base? So what kind of partners do you have for Upendo currently in Oklahoma? How have you built up to support 40?
For us to be able to take care of 40 children, of course, you're taking care of the children, you're taking care of the bills, you're taking care of the employees, you have to pay them. We have a program, it's like a sponsorship program. So where we invite individuals to come and sponsor, maybe they can sponsor a child, or they can sponsor half the, the expenses, of, a certain need at the children's home. So, and also we do fundraisers, like we just did a gala the last 2 weeks. That's how the children from Upendo came, and they were performing there. They have a dance group. And of course, we partner with churches and individuals, because we also take mission trips to Kenya. So we have to, and I work full time, like in this organization, I work full time, of course, no pay, but I thank God because, he meets my needs. So I'll be in Kenya, doing programs and helping with, just planning the place we are developing, like the Upendo village. But and then when I come back here, there are people who are working also. They are also volunteers. They organize the event with me and all those kind of things. We have people who are looking for, the supplies to send to Kenya. We partner with a lot of people. Yeah. So whatever capacity somebody is able to do it. And we of course partner with somebody like Elizabeth, because when back home, she's the mentor for these children, and that's how she's able to be on this trip with the kids.
How big is the team at Upendo with 40 kids?
We have 7 employees.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 7 employees that live they live at the children's home. Yes.
So with Upendo Children's Village, you're saying village. I know I saw the pictures of you building this location. What is your capacity going to be for children?
Right now, we have 2 huge buildings coming up, and they're going to be houses. They are not going to be, the concept of a dormitory. These are real houses with a real sitting room, with, plumbing in the house, bathrooms and, washrooms inside the house, and the toilets, they're inside the house. And so one of the houses is for girls and the other is for boys. So we are going to separate them, because this is something that we've always needed to do because of the, how children are growing and developing. And also each house is going to host 50 children.
Wow. So 3
capacity of 100. Yes, we can have 100 children board at one particular time. Yes.
Okay. So what kind of programs are you providing at Upendo? I know the kids are going to school on a day-to-day basis, but is there
Yes.
supplemental things you're doing there for the children based on the experiences that they've had?
Yes, we have once in a while we have, of course, mentors. We have counseling sessions, of course, to help with of course, what they have experienced before in terms of trauma. They participate a lot in the church, in the local church. Actually, they star because they do dramas. They present poems, they sing and they dance, and so they are part of the church community. Of course, they go to school. When the kids are going to Mombasa or whatever trip they go to, they are part of it. And of course, we have tutors that come to the children's home. And most of the times, because we are very close to a university, Jomo Kenyatta University, we have students who go there and do activities with them. This dancing and singing, we have found out that it's something that's really therapeutic for, to keep the children busy and also tell their stories. So we have a dance trainer that goes over there and trains them how to dance and sing. Yeah.
Wow. So I don't know if this is Elizabeth or you, but if you can tell us maybe one of the kids and how you've seen them transform that gives you hope for all the other kids in Upendo, maybe one story that she or you can pull out of the mess.
And she probably mentioned about one particular girl she's 15 years old now. We took this girl when she was 5 years old. We took her in when she was 5 years old. They used to live in the streets, and that's something that I'm really, I see as as a source of hope, because this child was literally sleeping in the streets because they were homeless. Mom with mental illness, and with two other siblings. And so when we met her, I just used to hear there's this girl that I'm sponsoring, in Kenya. And so one time when I was in Kenya, I was like, I want to see her. I want to meet her at her school. So of course, when we went there, she wasn't at her school, and I insisted that I wanted to go see her. So we went there. I think we were probably about 30 volunteers from Oklahoma. And so we were looking for this, bright child. And so as soon as we walked into the compound where I think the grandmother had given them like a small, I want to call it a shack, because it was literally a very small, tiny room where they all squeezed in, and it had rained in the night. No food in the house, no clothing. In fact, I think it was a twin bed that the mattress was this thin. And she shared with us that that's where they slept, all of them. And I was, our hearts were broken. And I remember holding hands and, asking God to provide, of course, hope for these children. And so she said she didn't go to school because she was, her uniform was wet outside, and we could see it outside there. But when we asked her what she eats, and she said, she just shook her head, and she said, I don't know where my mom is. Of course, we knew that the mom was, of course, she was mentally ill. But, outside there, of course, in, the slums of, anywhere, we have drunkard men out there. Some of them were lying down actually early in the morning. And you're like, we need to provide a better shelter for this girl. So that's the time I want to say God spoke to us about the children's home. And we took them and their siblings into the children's home, and this girl has continued to be a bright child. She, in the Matiang'i system, she had 408 marks in Kenya, Matiang'i exams. And she went to a national school in Mogoiri. This is a girl that would probably have not made it to any school, because of lack of money or lack of supervision, with somebody who really doesn't, does not really recognize the needs for, for education. And so when we talk about hope and providing hope, and we see this kind of a child, we are thankful to God, because we know that's what hope is supposed to look like. And she keeps saying that she wants to become a neurosurgeon. We have two other children that are also in a national school in Kenya. that actually did exams 2 years ago, and they are being sponsored by Equity because they did so well.
Wow.
I mean, talk about hope, Faith.
Oh, right.
Yes,
That's
these were, yeah, and these students were, both of them, the other two boys that are in national school actually were, they're total orphans.
yeah,
Never went to school before they came to Upendo,
yeah.
and now see where they are. Yeah.
Wow.
We have children that came straight from the streets. They had sniffed glue for many years, and now they're in high school because we
Yeah.
rehabilitated them and gave them education and love, of course. Yes.
I think, Eunice, we need to do something, I don't know which platform, but just to speak about adverse childhood experiences, because
Yeah.
this has been coming up in the news so often.
Yes. Yes.
Not last weekend, the weekend prior, Oprah came out on 60 Minutes talking about ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. These are experiences that children go through when they're very young, and how they actually will impact their long-term health outcomes. So, for example,
Yes.
physical abuse, sexual abuse, and neglect.
Yeah.
I think it's physical, emotional, sexual abuse and neglect. And then also
Yes.
kids who are in a household where there's mental illness, or someone was incarcerated, where there was a divorce. All these things that happen in the household, and people just kind of brush it under the carpet, but there are
Yeah.
children in that household, and that constant stress of living in that environment, it actually has a biology to it, to where
Yes.
that person later
Yes.
on in life is 12 times as likely to commit suicide, or that person later on in life is 4 times as likely to have a heart attack. So, people later on in life, maybe they were resilient, maybe they were able to pull themselves up on their bootstraps or whatever,
Yeah.
but then they're dying of all these illnesses and wondering, what was my risk factor? Only to find out they had a huge risk factor because of the environment that they were raised in.
Yes.
That's the message I know Oprah was talking about, and it's almost like people don't really think about it, but it's so real. And so I'm thankful for, Upendo and the work that you're doing, because you're changing the trajectory of someone's life. Oprah herself talked about her teacher, a fourth grade teacher, who was the person who told her, you're better than this, you can be someone, you're special, giving different messages. And she credits who she is today because of that one individual. So who can you be to someone, a child today? Because you can change someone's entire life, not just their ability to achieve, but their health, their actual health. So thank you so much for what you're doing in terms of Upendo. I know I have to pivot and talk about the book you're authoring, the book, The Secret of Winning, Sisterhood Battles of Faith. So why did you feel the burden to write a book on the relationship between women and sisterhood? Why do you think that message is important for people to understand?
I want to say that it really didn't start as a book. You know how women like to journal. After so many years of travel, of course, traveling back and forth to go do mission work, I always carry a journal with me. And I had this particular journal that was actually, I've even referred to it in this book because it was given to me on my birthday, by a coworker when I worked for the state. And I had journaled so many things, and I realized that there was something very common about my, of course, my entries, in the journal. And every one of them, I mean, I want to say 80%, they had something to do with a relationship. It's either that I was going through a challenge and I shared with somebody, and they encouraged me, or they prayed with me, those kind of things. So it was a journal, like, I am so thankful because of Faith, and how she encourages me, and how she reminded me, to be, this and this. And I looked at that and I was thinking, this is something to do with the relationship, and how how is it important for people to know that the sisters we have, especially the in this this journey of faith, that they are so important. They're the ones that actually bring you back to sanity, especially when when you're feeling like you're depressed, when you are wanting somebody to pray with. How many times do you send a message to a woman, and every time you send a message to them and say, hey, can you pray for me? And they don't just say, I'm gonna pray for you. They actually write a prayer back to you. Have you seen something like that? Somebody say,
Yes.
I declare that you're going to receive it, in that message. And that's really what encouraged me to actually order this book, because this book has those kind of messages that people sent to me when I was going through a very challenging time. And it was something to do with my organization. And was something that really broke my heart, and I felt like it was going to tear me down and I will never rise up. And I could remember every time, somebody wrote to me a message or called me on the phone, it was a woman that said, Eunice, we are praying with you. Eunice, you can do this. Eunice, you are a warrior, and things like that. And I realized, gosh, there is so much power in women relationship or sisterhood relationships. And of course, then I remember this important woman that was in my life, especially my grandmother, that taught me how to pray, that taught me how to be courageous, that taught me how to share, and the things that she had spoken to me, blessings. And I ordered all that. And I put them in different subtopics. And one most important thing today as we talk about that is Elizabeth, because I've talked about Elizabeth right here, who is with me. In this video, I've talked about so much, in this book about her, because she is she's the sister that has walked with me for a long time, and this sisterhood doesn't seem to end. And every time it's growing stronger. We have more testimonies together. Like last night, we sat down for a long time just giving testimonies, the things we have walked through, and how God has delivered us through that. And I want her to speak about that a little bit, about, that sisterhood relationship. And fighting battles. Yes, there you go, Elizabeth, again.
Yeah, this is the way it is. Every time Eunice comes back home, I accommodate her in my house. So sharing moments of fellowship, sharing moments of discussing how her kids at Upendo Children's Home are doing, because I'm their mentor. Remember, as I told you, I'm a church school teacher. In the church where they attend every Saturday. So during the times that there has been hard times in Eunice's life, I have found myself encouraging her, praying with her, praying for her. And so it surprised me when I read the book and I found my name there, repeating again and again and again. I felt so humbled.
Wow.
And so,
she gives a lot. She gives you a lot of credit in terms of, because it's hard to find someone who can push you and who can carry your dream for you and who can encourage you, because she's living in Oklahoma, you're in Kenya, you're the person who can walk that walk for her, make her dream come alive, right? So I think that's why she owes so much to you in terms of being a sister who is there to push her vision and her mission out into the world. But also, I have a question for you in terms of your relationship. Is there anything that you can say you've transformed because of the relationship you have with Eunice? Has that changed you?
Apart from now mentoring her children at Upendo, building character in them. I remember even as she was coming to Oklahoma to join the husband. I'm a family woman. I'm a mother of 3 adult girls, 2 who are married. I kept reminding her that God has called us to give hope to the hopeless. And especially from the family front. I am married for the last 5 years.
Wow.
And I kept reminding her, I have heard stories how people, when they relocate to US, they go and break up, they divorce. And I am declaring in the spirit that this is not going to happen to you.
Yes.
And Eunice, I'll always praise and bless my Lord if I hear that you are a beacon of hope.
Yes.
To those young families.
She's already doing that.
I feel so happy, and I bless the Lord for this couple.
Yes.
Because that was one of the key things that as we were holding hands praying when she was relocating to come here.
Yeah.
That I want to bless the Lord. I want to give a testimony that yes, there is hope in the family.
Yes.
Because her family will stand, and she will be one reverence family where people will be coming to seek advice and to pray with them, all to seek help from them.
Okay. Okay.
And when
So let me
she,
ask the question another way, Elizabeth.
yes.
I'm asking you personally, has this relationship with Eunice done something for you personally as an individual? How has it grown you?
Yes, it has.
Okay.
Walking and watching how she's giving hope to those children.
Yes.
It has caused me to also re-question myself. Am I giving enough? Am I partnering enough with God in giving somebody hope?
Yes.
And
yes.
so though I may not be able to maybe do as much as she is doing, it has encouraged me to reach out.
She already does a lot. She hosts 90% of our volunteers from Oklahoma in her house. That's a lot.
Wow,
yes.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And even that, running that home has put you in a position of leadership also. So it has grown you as a leader as well. So thank you so much for taking care of those kids. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Eunice, let me go back to Eunice.
Yes.
So go to the center again. Everybody is saying you're the only Elizabeth when she comes on the camera.
Okay, there you go. There I go. There.
So in terms of sisterhood, why is it that women why is it that it's so rare to find this kind of relationship, this kind of sisterhood that you have with Elizabeth? Because especially now, I mean, this is what I'm seeing a lot of, is women tearing each other down and competing and not building each other. Why do you think that's the case? And is there hope for those people who do not have those kind of meaningful relationships?
Yes, and I think my perspective of why, I've really talked about it a lot in this book because, I've told people that it's possible. It's possible to fight, especially when you women, and women are driven a lot by emotions. And I, of course, reminding people that when you're in a relationship of faith, you need to ask God to be the center. It doesn't mean that when you fight, you're not friends. But one thing that I know the enemy wants to do is to tear, those relationships down, because once they're torn, most of the times when women pray, definitely women are serious prayers. They are interceders. They pray and they are warriors. And then the devil doesn't want that. So the best thing to do is pray a lot for your relationship to be stronger, because once you're strong, there are so many things that you can change. You can move mountains, but sometimes we are driven by emotions, and people are very, it's very, very hard to forgive, and relationships are meant to, sometimes to suffer conflict. Remember from the beginning, it's not that, Adam and Eve, they had a very good relationship with God. And of course, who came in the relationship? It's the enemy. And people have to be aware about that. As sisters, you have to be aware that the devil does not like relationships. And so God brings his son to mend that relationship. And we need God to mend our relationships to be able to fight the battles, because we are not going to fight the battles when you have broken relationships. We are not going to pray for our families when you have broken relationships. So that's why I wanted to write this book, so people can know that we need to nurture those relationships. Even when we don't agree, we can always agree on the word of God, because it's, you know, it's the same and it doesn't change. So I've talked about the people that tell me to rebuke me in love, you know, because sometimes when you rebuke a sister and they don't realize that God is speaking to them through that sister, that's when people start now saying, fighting each other, and they take it personal. And I've talked about other things here. Yeah, so it's not hard to have a strong sisterhood relationship, but you know, it's easy when we make God the center of that relationship. You know, whether it's during a cup of tea, when you're sharing a cup of tea, make sure that what you're talking about is God's business, because one, when it's God's business, it's gonna help you and strengthen that relationship, you know. And you know, I've also talked about how many people have can you, even when you're going through a relationship, whether it's your marriage, whether it's your children, you always want to call that sister who can actually listen to you, whom you can, you know, you can cry to, and they can listen to you and not necessarily judge you. So let's make it to where we want to build each other and not tear each other down.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'll make sure I post the link to the book on this video so people know how to get it from Amazon, I believe.
Yes, they can get it on Amazon, but if they want me to autograph, you know, like you know, a copy, I can always ship it to them. It's only $20. And it helps this book, it's, you know, it's really not a profit-making book. It's because some of the proceeds go to my ministry, and of course it blesses your life, you know, when you use it. Yes.
So I actually love the fact that you've done that, because there's some people who've given up hope on having good friends, best friends, people who you can rely on or depend on. And so if you have a book that says A to Z or 1, 2, 3, this is what you should do in order to have a really good relationship with your sister. You know, this is a book that's much needed. So let's talk about Never Forget Us, a story of poverty, pain, and plan. You said it's taken you 5 years to write this book?
It's taken me 5 years to write this book. Actually, when I started writing the relationship book, I was in the middle of writing the Never Forget Us. You know, and the reason why it's being called Never Forget Us, because these are the words, the phrase, this is the phrase that actually made me think about going back to help the children in Kenya, because once they told me not to forget them, I kept that in the back of my mind. And every time I am doing something, I always remember those are the words that drive me to do what I'm doing. Because I never wanted to forget those children, because they, you know, they had a place in my heart. So when I was writing this book, Never Forget Us, I found myself talking a lot about my relationship with women again.
Yes.
So, you know, kind of, you know, I was like, I think God is telling me there's another book that needs to come out before this one. And then I remember at one particular time, I remember writing a journal, you know, of course, about pain, you know, and then it was supposed to go in the Never Forget Us book. And I thought, maybe this is not where it's supposed to be. I lost a very dear friend, or a Christian, actually, a sister that we really loved. Her name was Agnes. She died here in Oklahoma. It was a very, very sudden death, you know, and you know how much we really mourned that girl. She was a sweetie. She was a person who, you know, I mean, she would get into the room and just light up, and everybody would be laughing, and she had no grudges with anybody. And every time she spoke words of wisdom. And she was so young. I think it was her second anniversary for her wedding, you know, and I could just hear God saying that we need to have relationships like those ones that Agnes had. I don't remember anybody that had an enemy with Agnes. I don't remember anybody that fought with Agnes, because she was just, I mean, I don't know how to explain that. And so I had to put my book aside and write that book. Now I have come back to it. It's right here. It's supposed to go in the, you know, on sale very, very soon, but I am now doing like the final edits. And I want to say that it's not that it's going to be better than the other book, but this one is going to be probably, it's going to be for everyone, because the sisterhood is mainly for women. This one is for everyone. I've talked about my childhood stories, you know, the pain that, you know, probably I faced as a child, or pain that I witnessed children go through, you know, domestic violence, sexual violence, you know, those kind of things. And then I have like knitted it together with the story of me helping those children too, because of the pain I remember I either went through or I saw somebody go through. And now, actually, the word plan is being replaced by hope.
Oh, wow. Yes, please.
Yes, because what happens is that when I posted this, you know, it's so amazing. When I posted this, actually, I don't know why, I can show you the other book that I have. Actually, the other person that I gave to read this book, because he's, you know, he's a publisher and he has experience, and he said, I think this word needs to be hope.
Oh, wow.
And he crossed that word and put the word hope.
Hope.
With a red pen. So it's going to be poverty, pain, and hope. That's what that book is gonna be talking about. Again, I have talked a lot about I want to say that, you know, especially domestic violence. And domestic violence, you know, it impacts everybody, the children, it impacts the, you know, the women in the home or the men in the home. You know, it actually impacts the community. So I've really talked about that and how we can provide hope, even for those who have gone through it or those people who are going through it. You know, this book is, there's a whole package. It's a whole package, and I'm not going to promise that when you read it, you won't cry, because they are real stories. You know, when I was actually in primary school, I witnessed two girls that had been molested by their own dad.
Oh my God.
And you know, that story that the other day I was with my mom here in my house, and I asked her, you know, why wouldn't somebody do something about that case? Because she was aware of it. I mean, the teachers were aware of it, but all I remember is, you know, other older kids say they were raped by their dad, and I never heard about anything. And these children came into the classroom with blood on their legs. You know, what is the hope that we are going to give to children like this in the country, you know, in our country, Kenya, or even here in America, or even in the world? Because there's a lot of pain that is going on. And now that I'm dealing with, I have an organization where we take care of children that have abused. What is the hope for those kids? What is the hope for our country to make things better? You know, and one thing that I am doing myself as part of, you know, bringing hope for those situations is I am doing a research on asking children who have been abused, why didn't you tell someone? You know, and I want to know all those whys, you know, because because I had nobody to believe me, you know, because we had been told that we can't talk about these things, you know, because nobody would believe me, or because I want to put all those reasons and write them, you know, to whoever can read them. So we need to know, to come up with hope. How can we give hope to those children who are suffering in silence, because they have been told they can't disclose, or else, you know, they're either going to be kicked out of the house, or they're going to be killed, or their parents are going to be things like that. So it's a very raw story, but it's not just, it doesn't end with pain, it ends with hope. Does that make sense?
Yes. I'm looking forward to reading the book. I'm going to make sure I get 2 books.
Yes, this is a book to read. This is a book to read. And I know that there are so many people that will actually read in one of these pages and say, I went through that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I did the hard chores, but there was hope in the end. You know, I woke up in the morning, I milked the cows, I went and got firewood, but there was hope in the end, because I went to school and I got good grades. Here I am. I don't have to do all those chores now.
Yeah. So Sally Wairima is saying, God bless you, Eunice, and all that you do. I don't believe we have it.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you.
I haven't seen any questions. Lorraine says, I admire what you do in children's homes, Eunice. Good job. Gina
Thank
Yako
you.
says yes. And I think that's it. Oh, okay. And Mary Kim said good morning. And Lorraine Dana says we can share this video on mommyhood. It's okay. Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. So let me add, I guess the last thing on here is just for you to share anything upcoming. I know in Oklahoma the kids are still there. If there's anyone that sees this and wants to see the children, are they performing? Anything else you want to share?
Yes, they will be performing at my church tomorrow, First Presbyterian Church. They've been performing in different places. They are performing in a school here in Oklahoma called St. Anne on Tuesday. They
Okay.
leave on the 18th.
Yes.
Today they are watching the football game, not the soccer. Football game. In a university where my daughter goes to. And one of the things that we really wanted them to go to that university and visit the school and see the dormitories and, so that they can actually, they can say, I want to be in this university one day. And that's possible because, that's the kind of hope that we are instilling in them.
Yes.
So, and we always ask people to partner with us. There are people who are donating clothes, there are people who are donating shoes for them to take back home. So tomorrow is going to be our packing day. So we're going to be packing a lot of stuff for them to take back with them to Kenya. Yes.
Thank you for reminding us through this video that, you can take children who are in a hopeless situation and turn them into children of promise and children of hope, children with a name and children of God. Because I remember you talking to us on the Hope Hub about Kevin and his story and how that started off Upendo at the onset. Anyone who watches this video, please understand that whatever God is calling you out to do, He will give you the provision. Because I think this is what Eunice demonstrates, that if you have a vision, God will provide the provision that you need in order to carry out His calling. I think you are particularly blessed. I think one of the questions that I threw out the window was, I was asking you, how has God rewarded you from, what do you see as a demonstration of the rewards that God has given you? And I remember you saying that your children have gone to school. I think your older daughter ended up going to 2 years for free, right?
Free
and
education in Netherlands,
Yes. All these things and all these blessings that have come away, God remembers the people who take care of the orphan, the people who take care of the widow, and the people who answer the call to do what it is that He wants us to do. Anyone can be hope in the world. There's 150 million orphans in the world. And I know there's going to be more, because this morning I woke up and on CNN was the strikes in Syria. And they were showing the people who have now moved to a refugee.
Yes, that's very sad. Yes.
And behind the reporter, there were kids walking. I think she stopped one of the children who was a little boy, and he had toy guns. He had toy guns. And she was saying, what are these guns for? And he said, we're playing war. We're playing war, because that's his experience. Then there was another girl that walked behind, and she asked, what is this in the box? And the little girl had little dolls that she had covered up in the box and said, I put my dolls here in this box because if they suffocate, at least they're not going to be killed by the bombs. So these are the experiences that children all over the world are facing. In Kenya, it's a different context why they are in those homes. There are some who are there because their parents were killed through AIDS. Their parents were through political uprisings and issues in Kenya. They're there because of poverty. There's so many issues, but I'm thankful that in your own way, and people say, well, how many is 40 compared to 150 million? You've made a difference for one. You've made a difference for 40, kids that would have been on the streets. And then so I just continue to pray that God will continue to enlarge your territories and that He'll continue to give you the
Thank
grace
you.
and the capacity that you need in order to carry out this vision. Even, you know, you're looking at 100 kids, and I'm sure He's going to continue to enlarge the work that you're doing in Kenya and
Yes. Yes.
international, because you've called it Upendo International. So you're
Yes.
speaking into the future prophetically. So thank you so much, Eunice. Thank you, Elizabeth. I really appreciate you guys giving hope on the Hope
She's
Hub.
here. She's gonna say thank you. She's gonna say her last remarks.
Okay.
Yes, Faith. I'm so happy for the opportunity given
Yes.
that I may also express how I feel happy
Yeah.
for being reminded there is a hope,
Amen.
and that I should continue doing a
Yes.
good deed every moment of my life.
Amen. Amen.
And
Thank you so
may
much,
God
Elizabeth.
bless you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Mercy.
I think my husband wanted to put one of the girls on.
Okay.
I don't know how you can add him. Is he your friend? Let me see whether he can. I think he wanted to add him on the video, to her on the video.
Oh, okay. You want me to exit?
Huh?
I would have to exit you. I don't know. I don't think he's my friend, Eunice.
Oh, he's not?
Yeah, maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Yes. Yes. I didn't understand what he was saying when he said, just say it's in my car. And I was like, because we're driving to the game.
Okay, okay. Yes.
Yes, we're driving to the game. So I didn't know what he meant. I would have told, I think he would have requested you to be on the video because he was watching.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Menja. Thank you also for supporting Eunice with her
Yeah, she
vision.
would have said hello.
Amen. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Eunice. We're going to end
You're
the
welcome.
and
Huh?
I'll put your website, I'll put your Facebook
Do
page.
this, Faith. When you finish,
Yes.
when I say goodbye, maybe we can try and see whether Robert can call you. Because I think
Okay.
he has access and request. If you allow her, one of the girls you're talking about that went to the national school, used to live in the streets, can say hi to you and you can see a real hope. She can,
Okay.
yeah.
So he'll send me a request. Make sure his phone is horizontal.
Yeah, I'll tell him right now, right away. Thank you so much for having me. If he doesn't show up, just know that he probably wasn't able. Okay?
Okay. I'll do that. I'll do that.
How
Thank
do
you.
I exit? Okay, do I just click that?
I'll exit you. Okay. So Eunice wants me to have one of the Upendo children on the video. Let me see if I can find Mr. Menja on this on the Hope Hub. If he's my friend, I can find him. Let's see. Okay, tell him to send me a request, Eunice. I'm not able to find him, unfortunately. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for being on the Hope Hub. We've been on here for about an hour and 8 minutes. Let me see. Oh, let me see. I think I see it now. Approve. Okay, Mr. Menja is coming live. I'm adding you to the broadcast. Hopefully this works. Thank you guys for your patience. Thank you for your patience. Thank you as we wait for Mr. Menja. Mr. Menja, just make sure your phone is horizontal. We should be able to see you. You should be able to be added if your phone is this way versus vertical. And make sure that your screen rotation is on. So hi, Elsie. Hi, Sally. What are you guys up to? If you guys have any questions for Mr. Menja and the Upendo children's, the Upendo children who are here in the US, please just chime in and ask your question, type it out so we can We can ask him on. So I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe you can just send another one. Sorry, guys. Let me try again. Okay, it's not coming on. He requested, I got the request and I approved it, and on my screen it's saying connecting, Eunice. It's just saying connecting, and nothing. He's not coming onto the screen. And usually when that happens, it's because the screen, he has the phone vertical versus horizontal, or his screen rotation button is not on. So should I just finish the broadcast? Yeah, it might be the internet. But thank you so much, Eunice. I know we tried our best. Is he sending me? He can send one more request and I'll try it. And then if it doesn't, I'll just leave it. Eager to hear from the girl. I know, I was like, that's why I'm kind of waiting on him. And they're on their way to a football game. And I wanted to see what what has been their experience being in the US for the first time. Okay, you're gonna call him, Eunice? Let me see. Add viewers to your broadcast. Let me find Robert. Menja. Okay. Yeah, because he's not on the Hope Hub. As a member of the Hope Hub, it's not coming on. Okay, I see your request. Add. Okay, I'm saying add again. Hi!
Hey, sasa.
Sana, barigani.
Nzuri kabisa. I'm actually driving.
Oh, wow. Okay,
So I have Juicy just behind me. So I'll give her the phone and she can talk.
Okay. All right.
Juicy. Shika hii simu, shika hivi ongea na that lady.
Sasa Lucy. Lucy. Poa. Mnaenda wapi?
Tunaenda ball.
Football. Lakini unajua hii ball si ile ya nyumbani. Utaona it's very, very different. So how old are you?
I'm 15 years old.
Oh, you are? Wow. Which school do you go to?
Mogori Girls High School.
Wonderful. So, Teacher Eunice, do you call her Teacher Eunice? Auntie Eunice. So I was just on with her live and she was telling me that you guys, you're here, you're performing in Oklahoma. It's your first time in the United States. How are you finding it? Being in the US, what's different?
It is fun and we are enjoying.
Okay, how is it fun? What fun are you having?
It is fun because we are visiting places and we are interacting with good people who are kind-hearted.
Oh, wow. That's great. How is what are you finding is very different from home, from back home in Kenya?
Okay.
You don't be scared.
Yes?
Don't be scared to answer the question.
Okay.
Is it okay? Let me start off with the weather. Is the weather very different?
Yes.
Mmepata snow.
Yeah.
What did you think of the snow? Your first time seeing the snow?
That day was cold, but it was fun.
Mulitoka nje?
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I wanted to ask you about Upendo Children's Home. When did you join Upendo? Do you remember how old you were?
Yes.
How old were you when you joined Upendo Children's Home?
I was 10 years.
10 years? And what are you an only child back home, or you left the other children with your parents?
We are with them there in Upendo.
Oh, all of them? How many?
2.
A
Two
boy, girl?
sisters, yes, girls.
How old are they?
One is 10, the other is 6.
Okay, and your parents are still at home, or are your parents with us? Where are your parents?
No, I just have a mother and she doesn't work.
Okay, okay. Do you get to see her at all?
Yeah.
She comes to visit?
Yes.
So what do you like about Upendo Children's Home?
It is good. It provides like everything, love, food, clothes, yeah, and shelter, and everything that everyone needs to keep on going with life.
Okay. And now in Migori, are you in boarding school?
Yes, I'm in boarding school.
So you're Form 2 or Form 1?
Form 1.
Form 1. How do you like boarding school? Now you living Upendo and now you're in a school with all these other people. Do you like it? You're used to?
Yeah.
Auja monoliziwa?
There's no mobilization.
There's none?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me, when you finish high school, what are you thinking in terms of your future? What would you like to be?
Okay, when I finish high school, I want to join university here in America.
Okay.
Yeah, that is Harvard University. And I want to become a neurosurgeon.
What? That is wonderful. That is so great. Let me tell you, your dreams are valid. I have a sister, and my sister actually went to Harvard Law. She wanted to be a lawyer, and she went to Harvard Law, and she did her LLM, law school, her master's in law, and then she did her PhD in law, and then now she's teaching at Harvard Law. And she teaches at Harvard Law, and she teaches at Nairobi University. And so she's able to be in the US 6 months and then go back home, Nairobi University, for 6 months. So she's able to live in 2 countries simultaneously. So, when you say those things, I'm so glad to hear you talk about your future and what you want to do, because it's possible. Okay? Because my sister was just like you in high school, saying, she went to Kenya High and she was saying, I'm going to be a lawyer and I'm going to go to Harvard, and it ended up happening. So thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much. And I look forward to hearing more wonderful things about you and your future. And I'll continue to pray for you, okay? God bless you.
God bless you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Aya. Sawa sawa, you've seen one of our children. We have some more that are sleeping. Walikuwa na sema hi Njeri.
Hi.
Huyu anaitwa Njeri. Na kuna mwingine wako hapa nyuma, they had a sleepover, so they are kind of tired.
Thank you so much for sharing that experience, and we look forward to supporting Upendo Children's Home and all the work that you and Eunice are doing. God bless you.
God bless you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for Watching. Thank you so much. Share this video where you can, where it's allowable. Don't get me in trouble. And you guys have an amazing self-care Saturday, and keep believing in your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations. And I'll see you next Saturday when we're interviewing Mary Kimari, who is an autism mom, and she's going to give us some hope for autism, which is something that I really care deeply about. And we'll have a conversation on hope as in that respect. So God bless you all. Peace. Bye.